Hi everyone. Today let's move on to the essay 20. And the topic is about happiness. So the title is Happiness is considered very important in life. Why is it difficult to define? What factors are important in achieving happiness? As we can see, this is a two-part questions and we are supposed to answer the questions and give our opinions in details. And still we'll go with Simon's methods. And in the first paragraph, we are supposed to give an introduction, which means we are supposed to talk about the topic first and then we will give our own answer. So the first paragraph goes like this. It is no doubt true that the majority of people would like to be happy in their lives. While the personal nature of happiness makes it difficult to describe, there do seem to be some common needs that we all share with regard to experiencing or achieving happiness. And as we can see right here, it is true, or it is no doubt true, is kind of Simon's favorite starting of one paragraph. And the majority of people, I think it means like everyone, right? Because it's kind of a topic for everyone. And we can notice that Simon also uses while, right? Because while is also very important because, it can link two sentences which express two different opinions, and it's quite important and it's very useful as well. So please notice this one. There do seem to be some common needs that we all share. Stops here. There are various reasons why. There do seem to be some common needs. There are some common needs or stuff. This is for overall statements, and this is quite important because we are supposed to give some very overall statements sometimes, and I think that's quite important. We are supposed to do this in our test. And please look at this phrase. It's very important with regard to, and we use this very, very often. There do seem to be some common needs that we all share with regard to experiencing or achieving happiness. So let's have a look. This is a two-part questions. This is a two-part question, and the first question is why is it difficult to define? And here is an answer. While the personal nature of happiness makes it difficult to describe, to define, right? And what factors? And in the overall statement, it says there are some common needs that we all share with regard to experiencing or achieving happiness. This is kind of an adding or a synonym to of achieving happiness. And factors, and here we answer it's like there do seem to be some common needs that we all share, right? So let's move on to the body paragraphs. Happiness is difficult to define because, right? Because in the first body paragraph, you are supposed to answer the first question, which is why is it difficult to define? Happiness is difficult to define because it means something different to each individual person. Nobody can fully understand or experience another person's feelings, and we all have our own particular passions from which we take pleasure. Some people, for example, and here the author gives an example, derive a sense of satisfaction from earning money or achieving success, whereas for others, whereas is also a very important linking word. Health and family are much more important. At the same time, a range of other feelings from excitement to peacefulness may be associated with the idea of happiness. Associated with, can tell the importance of this word. Can and The same person may therefore feel happy in a variety of different ways. So in this paragraph, the author explains why it is difficult to define happiness. And next paragraph, we are supposed to answer the factors that are important in achieving happiness. Here we go. Although it seems almost impossible to give a precise definition of happiness, most people would agree that there are some basic preconditions to achieving it. Firstly, it is hard for a person to be happy if he or she does not have a safe place to live and enough food to eat. So it talks about our basic needs, right? And there is a great word called precondition. And there's a very important word which is if. And let's move on. Our basic survival needs must surely be met before we live a pleasant life. Secondly, the greatest joy in life is usually found in shared experiences with family and friends. So it mentions the importance of family and friends. Okay, let's move on. And it is rare to find a person. Cool. Because it talks about the negative aspect, and it is rare to find a person who is content to live in a complete isolation. Oh my god, it's kind of like a poem, right? So it is rare to find a person who is content to live in a complete isolation. Other key factors could be individual freedom and a sense of purpose in life. And here, it goes afterwards. The secondly, other key factors. It also talks about factors. It also answers the question. Could be individual freedom and a sense of purpose in life. And this is so essential to me. Individual freedom. And I don't know about this one. A sense of purpose in life. Okay, so here comes the last paragraph, which is the conclusion, and we always start with in conclusion. Happiness is difficult to define because it is particular to each individual. But I believe that our basic needs for shelter, food, and company need to be fulfilled before we can experience it. Here, it's very, very important, in the first part of the answer, it shows the main reason why it is difficult to define. The reason is it's particular to each individual. And for the answer of the second question, what factors, and it summarizes all the factors that we talked about before, right? So it is basic needs for shelter, food, and company. And it says, I believe that our basic needs for shelter, food, and company need to be fulfilled before we can experience it. It's a very great way to deal with it, because before we can experience it, you should still pay attention to this link words, right? Other than whereas, while, whereas, if, and before, right? Before we can experience it, these factors should be fulfilled. And what factors? The factors that we talked about before. So let's make a summary. Those linking words: while, whereas, if, before. Okay, so this is the end.